Hello. Today I thought we would play with a moon salutations. We often do variations of sun salutations, but it's a full moon, and moon salutations often have this idea of side bending in them, which is great for everything from the outer ankle. I particularly feel it in the hip and low back area, the waist here, and then of course opening up the rib cage, the lats, the triceps. Get a lot of that in today. So let's go ahead and start with our breathing practice, and then we'll get into our movement practice. For today's breath work, let's take a deep breath in, relaxed but deep, fill it all the way up. And then as we exhale, we're going to take little pauses. So exhale maybe about a third of your breath, then gentle pause, a third, gentle pause, all the way out. Fill yourself all the way up with air. Exhale, pause, exhale, pause, exhale. Remembering to keep everything loose and relaxed. Continue on at your own pace, and you can put more or fewer pauses in there. And we'll begin to bring the awareness into the movement of the body. Let's start with one shoulder. We'll circle the elbow back. And the other. Excellent. Let's take both arms. We're going to windmill them forward. And then back. Now, the next time they're up in the air, bend your elbows, pat yourself on the back. Now, what often happens is because of tight shoulders, we pat ourselves on the back with the hands crossed. We're going to try to bring those hands back to their own side so your pinkies are next to each other instead, thinking of reaching further down the back and squeezing those ears with the arms. So elbows are reaching towards each other and backing up. And let it go. Let's take our legs in front of us, knees a little wider than hips, and we'll drop them left and right. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Reach for the feet or the ankles or the toes. And we're going to Go ahead and flap those wings. We're not trying to get our biggest range of motion because we're bouncing, but we are just warming up the hips, getting some fluid flowing. And as we do this, I want you to think of sticking your tail out behind you and pulling the shoulder blades down the back. All right, we will pause those bounces and think about pulling the navel towards your feet. Now maybe you bring that navel really close to your feet. Maybe your knees go very close to the floor, or maybe not. But find your full range of motion. And let it go. Let's make our way up to our feet. We're gonna start in a crouched position or in a squat. So, got my feet under my hips, and let's sit tall. Balance on the balls of the feet. Engage through the abdominals, open the chest. And then take the hands to the mat, stretch the tail into the air, forward fold. Let's play with this a little bit. We're going to bend one knee, then the other. Head back down to your squat. Come up and balance. And forward again, tail in the air. And this time what I'd like you to do is rock forward towards the balls of your feet, then back towards the heels. Let the neck relax so you're looking at your knees, not your toes. Alrighty, bring yourself all the way up to standing. I'm going to do it as a flat back. Feel free to do it as a round up as well. Completely up to you and your back, what you two can agree upon. But roll those shoulders back, and we're going to take the arms up overhead. All right, now let's take both arms. We're going to interlace the fingers. Take both arms, trying to find some sunlight here, over to one side. So stretching out this side body here. And I am pulling this upper arm up and out. And the other side. And bring it back down. All right, so we're at the top of our mat. We're going to take our arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Hands go wherever they need to go to support your body. Exhale, back down. Take the right leg back behind you. There we go. What I want you to think about doing is pulling those hips towards the front heel. And then go ahead and let the back knee come all the way down, still pulling the hips towards the front heel. And then stretch the tail up into the air. Both legs are going to go long, hips go back. We call this pyramid pose. Shift your weight to the middle. So you're looking between your legs, tail in the air, head is relaxing, reaching down towards the floor. Shift on over to the second side. So you're facing the back of the mat now. Going to take it to a pyramid. And a low lunge. Bend that front knee, lengthen out the back leg, and really pull the pelvis towards the front heel. Keep the spine long. And drop down the back knee. Continue with that sensation of pulling the hips towards the front heel. All right, step that back foot towards the front one. Forward fold. Breathe in, come all the way up. Let's take our hands back down to the floor, low lunge. Breathe in, half lift. Back down. Step back with your left leg. Pyramid pose. Shift to your wide leg forward fold. Rotate over to the second foot. So both sets of toes are facing the same direction. Both facing the top of the mat now. Drop it into low lunge. forward, forward fold. Breathe in, come all the way up. With both arms up, we're going to reach the hands to the left side. So my outer hip is pushing towards the front. My upper armpit is pulling towards the back. And both sets of feet are planted firmly on the floor. You might notice they try to roll to one side. Plant that down. Back to center. Take a large step back with your left leg. Bring your right hand down to your right hip. Now I'm in a high lunge here because my heel is off the floor back there, so I'm not in a warrior one. I'm in high lunge. I'm going to take my left arm up and over. So again, opening up this side of the body, really tucking my tail under to increase this stretch of the hip. Plant that front foot firmly on the ground, but relax the toes, pressing down through the foot, not the toes. We'll bring this left arm down to the mat. Rotate to the back wall with your torso. If you'd like to, you can bring your other arm up. Right hand down, back knee down. Both arms come up. Lift the heart. Bring both hands to the inside of your front leg. So both hands are on the inner knee side of the leg by the big toe. I'm going to rotate my body towards the side of the mat. And the back toes come up just for fun. Straddle. Bend into the left knee. Now that might be a very slight bend, or it might be bringing those hips all the way down. It could even be balanced. Alrighty, right hand to the mat. Turn to look at the foot of the mat. So we're now in this low lunge. Left arm's gonna go up behind us. Bring the back knee down. Face the foot of your mat again. Lift both arms up. And bring the hands down to the mat. Pyramid pose. And high lunge, bending that front knee. Arms come up. Left arm will come down to the left hip. Right arm will reach up and over. My back heel is reaching towards the ground, but I've stepped so far back that it can't quite touch. So high lunge position, arm reaching up and over. There we go, back to arms up. We're going to step forward, interlace the fingers. Take the hands both over to the left. Outer hip reaching forward. Armpits reaching up on that right side. And release. Take the arms down. Focus on the feet on the ground. Arms back up. We'll take that crescent. Right hip up, out. Arms to the left. Plant those feet firmly on the ground. Back up to center. Big step back with your right leg. High lunge position. Now this time when we go into our crescent lunge, you can take your left hand down to your hip again, or you can have it out to the side unsupported. So this is using a lot more of your core strength to hold the position as opposed to leaning on your own weight. Take your right hand down to the mat. I'm wiggling out my back foot a little bit so I can get into this low lunge. Drop the back knee down. Both arms come up. Both arms come down to the inside of the leg. Rotate the torso to the side. Bring it to a wide leg forward fold or this folded straddle. Bend into the right knee. We're going to bring our hands back down to the mat, pivot to the top of the mat now. Right arm comes up. Back down. The back knee comes down, arms go up. Take it to a pyramid, both hands on the ground, tail in the air. Bend the front knee, high lunge. Left arm up and over. Right arm either completes that lower half of the crescent shape or comes down to support you on your hip. and up. Step together. Relax the arms. Relax the body. All right, let's play with a half moon. We're going to take a big step back with the left leg. Rotate the torso to the left. So my knee is pointing in the same direction as my toes. That's important for making sure that we don't strain the knee. And I'm going to play with a side angle pose. So I'll start with a supported one. And put your weight on your elbow, on your thigh, and open up the chest. Very similar shape to what we've already done. Relax the toes. We're just focused on pressing down through the sole of the foot. But maybe your left arm comes up to the sky. And now I want you to point the back foot. Notice how that shifts your weight forward. Perfect. Now let's shorten our stance a little bit. Bring the back foot forward maybe 8 inches or so. And again, we're going to point the back toes. We've got a lot of weight over our front foot now, to the extent that maybe we don't even need our back foot for support at all, and we can start to float it up off the ground. I'm going to let my elbow come off my knee, straighten my supporting leg, and my back foot starts to float. So maybe you're right here, where that toe is just playing with coming off the ground, or maybe you grab a block, or if you have long arms, the floor, and you play here. But that full half moon pose is with the hand hovering above the ground, the back leg at hip height, the other arm reaching for the sky. All right, let that go. Come on up. Rest the hip. In fact, let's take that leg behind the other one. And then again, we're going to take this right arm up and over. And what I want you to do is kind of move and shift into where's the stretch? Where's the stretch to release what I just did? And let it go. Perfect. Let's take our half moon on the other side. So again, we'll start with a big step back, this time with the right leg. Shift the body to the side of the room, but your knee is going in the same direction as your toes. If you'd like, you can bring that elbow down to get supported, supporting your upper body with the strength of your legs. Other arm comes up, so we start to feel that shape of the full half moon pose. We'll play with pointing the back foot. And then shorten your stance, bring the back foot forward maybe 6 or 8 inches. And again, point the back foot, more and more weight on your left leg until maybe that back leg starts to float. And you can play with whatever arms support you. Playing with using as little support as needed, but also keeping you safe. So if this pose feels like one that you're like, oh my goodness, I would love to do that, but I really don't want to fall backwards. A great place to start is against a wall. That way I can't fall backwards. It's right there. And as you get more comfortable, you can just step a little bit further away from the wall so you're not actually touching it. You've got a few inches of space in there. Go ahead and let that go, and we're going to come to goddess pose. So that's both legs out wide, back in that straddle kind of position. And bend into the knees. Knees going in the same direction as the toes. Bring the hands in front of your nose like this, and then open up. Think of sinking your shoulders into your back pockets and give a little tension to your tummy. Pull that tail forward. Let's play with our toes again. Let's lift one heel off the ground and then the other. Point this foot and that foot. And if that feels comfortable for you, maybe try both feet. Notice that the ankle should stay in alignment with the rest of the leg. So if you end up out here and you're like, I'm balancing, I'm glad you're balancing, and also let's back it up a little bit so that we can be in alignment. Excellent. We'll bring those arms down, let the heels come down, and we're going to play a little hula hoop. Perfect. We did one foot behind the other. We're going to do the other foot behind now. It's probably your left one. Left arm comes up and over. Find that stretch. Nice. Let's come down to our hands and knees. And if you're on a hard floor, you're going to want to be sideways on your mat for this. Hands and knees, and we're going to widen the knees. So I can feel just a little bit of straddle type stretch here, but not a ton. I'm going to push my hips back until I feel a deep stretch. And then forward, trying to bring my hips to the ground. So I might have to walk my hands out a little bit, and I'm going to think of dropping my pelvis towards the ground. If this is very, very easy for you, if your hips are just like, boop, down they go, bring your feet closer together. Press it back again until you feel that stretch. And forward. You can do this from your hands, or you can do it from your elbows. So we can push forward and back from here. All right, come back to sitting on your tail. We're going to continue stretching those outer hips with a Marichiasana or I've heard it called a pretzel before. We're going to take one knee over the other. Press that buttock down into the ground, so you can think of it as trying to lengthen both sides of the torso equally and not getting crunched on one side. Roll those shoulder blades down. Pull your knee in close to the chest. If you'd like to, you can take this right hand back behind you to assist in adding a twist of the spine. We're still pressing down with the buttock to keep the spine long. And then I'm actually going to lean back away from my hip. So I'm pressing down with my right hip. I'm going to lean back away from it. And unwind. Take this leg out to the diagonal. Rotate towards it. And lengthen out over the top of it. Bring it back up. If your right leg is out along the ground, you're going to take your left arm up and over. And I am supporting myself with this elbow just a little bit, not only supporting upwards, but I'm also pushing it back into my leg to rotate my torso towards the ceiling just a little bit more. And release. I'll take the Marichyasana on the second side. Press the hip down. Straight back. Pull those elbows back. Add the rotation if you'd like. And then if you'd like to, continue pressing the hip down, but lean back away from it. Bring it back. Open out to the diagonal. Rotate towards that leg and reach out over the top of it. Bring it on up. If your left leg is out, your right arm is going to come up and over the top. And release. Let's make our way to lying down on our backs. We're going to leave our knees up for now. Go ahead and drop them left to right. Now, if you take your heels wider than your mat, wider than your hips, when you drop one knee after the other, you'll get a bit of some hip flexor stretch and or quadriceps. Bring those knees towards your armpits, hands to the feet, happy baby pose. This might be a pose that you do stationary, or maybe you like to wiggle it and rock it. Go ahead and set those feet down on the ground. Open up like a butterfly. And take your arms out from the shoulders with the elbows bent, like that goddess pose that we did, where our elbows are bent at 90 degrees. The backs of your hands are resting on the floor. Opening the chest. Let your breath support the opening of the hips, the shoulders. Take any last moves or stretches that you'd like to on your way to Savasana, your relaxation pose. That's traditionally done with the arms and legs stretched a comfortable distance from your body. Let the hips relax so that the toes flop out to the side. Let the palms face up so that your shoulders soften into your mat. Close your eyes and relax your neck muscles. Let your jaw become soft and your tongue become still. And I'd like you to imagine that once again, you were breathing through your navel. I know it's been a while, but imagine that your lungs filled from the navel, and that was how you got oxygen instead of through your nostrils. Now let the awareness of breath return to the nostrils. And allow the body to start making those large movements again. Tapping into what it is your body would like to feel. And taking your time up to sitting. We'll bring our hands to Anjali Mudra and our thoughts to a place of gratitude. Together we'll take a deep breath in and out, and I invite you to Om along with me with that exhale. We'll take a deep breath in. Thank you.